You see, a few years back on a routine dig for dinosaur fossils, a landslide broke out and nearly broke my leg in two. They had to operate quickly, so they used the dinosaur bone I found to save my leg. Ever since, I've had what they call Dino DNA. The doctor says it makes me stronger than the average Joe.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give them. Okay.
They're the same picture.
Once again, Duel Links has etched ever so closer towards its TCG Master Duel counterpart. And I'm not gonna lie, this deck list is going to be one of those very frustrating decks for a lot of people. Because not only is it pay to play, considering Fossil Dig is now a selection box card, I don't know why they took a free-to-play level up reward and stuffed it in a selection box. That is really insulting, but it's something they decided to do. But on top of that, the actual playstyle of the deck list is really frustrating, especially if you're going first into it. Basically, your opponent activates Misk, their entire stuff is just unaffected for the turn, they summon a big dinosaur, flip all of your stuff face down, and at that point, all you can really do is just wait for the inevitable butt pounding. Like, I know Misk only makes your field unaffected during the main phase, so theoretically, after they flip all your stuff face down, maybe you can use some back row during the battle phase to save you? If the deck didn't set up an Omni Negate for spell and trap cards, and set up a Nightmare Phoenix to pop any remaining back row, all in the same 2-card combo. Yeah, you're kinda just screwed. So here's today's deck list. Now just before I get into the deck list, just a reminder, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, or more deck lists from me in the future, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. So first up, we have the deck's brand new boss monster, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. This card basically can just banish 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard to special summon itself to the field, and when it's on the field during either player's main phase, by destroying any monster on your field or any monster in your hand, you can flip every single one of your opponent's monsters into face down defense position. And keep in mind, this is not a hard once per turn, so if you have 2 of these on the field, you can use both of these during that turn. And this is very relevant because you can set this up on your first turn if you choose to. It's part of your standard combo. Alright, additionally, this card can attack every single one of your opponent's monsters once each, and at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent, and if you do, send that defense position monster to the graveyard. So basically, flip everything your opponent controls face down, this thing can swing into every single one of those, send them all to the graveyard, inflict a bunch of damage to your opponent, and then whatever other monsters you have can just hit your opponent in the face. This card is crazy, especially in combination with Miss, because your opponent can't actually do anything about this, flipping everything face down. Alright, next up we have your Soul Eating Oviraptor. This thing, when normal special summon, can search for a dinosaur from your deck list, and when it's on the field, it can destroy a dinosaur monster on the field, to then special summon a dinosaur back from the graveyard. Then we have your Misk. This card I'm sure you've seen before. You can discard it from your hand during the main phase. Any dinosaur monster you have on the field is just unaffected by your opponent's stuff. Completely a disgusting card, and when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it along with any other dinosaur monsters in your graveyard, special summon a dinosaur monster from the deck, equal to level of the cards you just banished. Alright, then we have your Giant Rex. This thing, when in the graveyard, when you banish it, you can just special summon it back to the field. You're going to do this a whole lot with this deck list, so you just need this card for your standard combo, basically. This card has a whole bunch of text, but basically it's just a spell and trap card negate when it's on the field, and you can summon it using your giant pill if you want to have a spell and trap card negate on the field. Alright, your double evolution pill, by the way, just banishes a non-dinosaur monster and a dinosaur monster from the graveyard to summon either a copy of this to the field or a copy of this to the field. Alright, next up we have your this card. This thing, when it is summoned to the field, can destroy a dinosaur monster in your hand to search for the pill from your deck list. Very common combos use discard Misk, then banish the Misk from the graveyard, summon a level 1, summon your blah blah blah. This thing, when it comes to the field, destroys a baby dinosaur in your hand, which then just searches for your pill. The baby dinosaur effect triggers, which this card, when it's destroyed, just summons a dinosaur monster from your deck list, so you just summon out any old dinosaur and go full combo. Then we have your very controversial Fossil Dig, which is now a selection box card. This just adds a level 6 or lower dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. And without this deck will feel a little bit bricky, because this deck is essentially a 2-card combo. You need to have a Misk and a copy of your Baby Ceratosaurus, or a copy of your Soul Eating Oviraptor and whichever card you're missing. Same with Fossil Dig, you just need to get hold of these cards somehow. So if you don't have Fossil Dig, your combos are going to be a little bit more bricky. The deck is still playable without 3 copies of this, just because Oviraptor is also a searcher, but considering it is a 2-card combo deck, it can feel a little bit bricky if you don't have 3 copies of this, which feels kind of bad. Then we have Big Evolution Pill. You can ignore this card text completely. This card has only one purpose in this deck, and that is, basically, your combo gets completely broken if you open this card in your opening hand. It is completely broken. Normally to offset things like this, you just play more cards in your deck list, you just don't draw the pill very often. But the issue with that is, you draw your Misk less often. And it's a 2-card combo deck. You want to open Misk every single game. You don't want to be normal summoning Oviraptor to search Misk, because then this card can be disrupted, for example. So you want to open this basically every single game, or open your Fossil Dig every single game to search for your Misk. And if you don't open it, it feels bad. So I'm playing 20 card, so you open it as often as possible, but because I'm playing 20 card, it also means opening this is very likely, and if you do open this, it kills the deck's combo entirely, because this card needs to search for a pill to destroy a dinosaur. So, we're playing the shitty pill, just so you don't break your combo if you open this card. This doesn't feel too bad, because the skill requires a discard anyway, so if you do open this card via whatever means, you can just discard it for the skill anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. It's just a little bit annoying that you had to play this dumb card in the first place. It's also important to note that this card, when this card is sent to the graveyard via a card effect, which can include itself, because it can send itself to the graveyard for its Spell and Trap card negate, it can search for a pill from your deck, which can search for this, which can come up considering we are going to be ending on IP Masquerena, which then turns into a Nightmare Unicorn, which discards a card from hand. So this thing going to the graveyard can search for the pill, which gives you a target for your Nightmare Unicorn to discard. And this deck does a lot of discarding considering you have a dinosaur monster that wants to do that as well. Alright, that was a big ass explanation for a really shitty card. But basically, you just have this thing because you have to have it, otherwise you're going to be bricking every time you open this, and be swearing every time it happens. Alright, and then finally we have the extra deck. Now the extra deck, it's a bit interesting for this deck because there's actually a lot of stuff in here you don't necessarily need, you just sort of play. The cards you sort of need in here, I would say, are Abyss Dweller, you need your Evozor Lagia, which is your 2 dinosaur monsters, turns into a negate for any summon of a monster or Spell and Trap card. We have your Nightmare Unicorn, which is needed because we have your IP. This card is also required because the skill needs you... We basically want to send a non-dinosaur monster from the field to the graveyard for your double evolution pill and to trigger your skill. And the other cards you need is IP Masquerena and your Nightmare Phoenix. You don't really need this card, you don't need this card, and you don't need this. So if there's any particular extra deck stuff you want to play, go ahead and play it, because, yeah, there's actually no real sort of extra deck requirements for this deck outside the cards I just mentioned. And finally, we have the skill, Dino Awakening. This thing can send one face-up non-dinosaur monster you control to the graveyard, add a Baby Ceratosaurus from your deck to your hand, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. This is why it's so important to play your Linkuriboh, because you need to send a non-dino from the field to the graveyard for your Evo pill, and to use the skill. During your main phase, you can make one monster on the field become level 4 until the end of this turn. This actually can be any monster on the field, including your opponent's. This can actually screw up some, like, quick synchro effects on your opponent's turn if he's playing one of those kinds of decks. Also, if it was a monster your opponent controls, you can also apply the following effect. That monster becomes dinosaur type until the end of this turn. This turn, you can normal summon one soul-eating Oviraptor in addition to your normal summon or set. So you can also make one of your opponent's monsters a dinosaur type in addition to reducing its level to level 4, which means soul-eating Oviraptor can destroy it, to then summon out a dinosaur monster from the graveyard. I've only really done this once. This part of the skill sounds insane, but in practice, you don't really need to do this very often at all, basically, because just flipping everything face down anyway and your entire field's unaffected, so I haven't really got much use out of this, but you can do it, so keep it in mind. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the decklist portion of the video. Let's check out some replays showing this decklist in action. So I've got 7 replays to share with you guys, and we're going to start off with one that shows a prime example of just how frustrating it can be if you're going first into this deck list. This deck is going to make a lot of people angry because, yeah, making all of your stuff unaffected and can just flip everything face down is ridiculous. So we're up against a Literalist player. Literalisk is known for setting up 2 monsters that can't be targeted, they can't be destroyed, they can't take any battle damage for the turn, and they can just bounce all of your stuff back to your hand. This deck cares about none of that. Let me show you. I guess it cares a little bit about not being able to take battle damage, but you can still even do a little bit of burn damage because of just how the big dinosaur works, so we'll fast forward his turn a little bit. This hand's actually a little bit bricky, because every single hand you basically have a copy of Misk and a copy of Baby in order for it to actually function properly. But considering this deck has like 6 searches if you've willingly gone into the selection box, it's not that bricky, but as being a 2-card combo deck, it does come with that little bit of a risk of a brick, which is, yeah, not great. Especially if you haven't got the selection box. It was probably designed that way on purpose by Konami, just to make sure you're going into the selection box if you want to play it. Alright, so he's going to use his Nightingale. He now can't take any damage, his cards can't be destroyed, and I'm going to discard my Mist to make it so that he cannot affect any of my dinosaur monsters for the rest of the turn. Prime example of this, banishing him to summon a dinosaur to the field. He tries to use a Robin to bounce it. Alright, discarding my double Evo Pill. Baby Cerosaurus, summoning the dude to the field, searching for an Oviraptor. I don't know why I didn't search for another Misk here for future turns, because actually having it in the graveyard is great follow-up, but anyway. Alright, making a Linkuriboh. He can actually bounce this card to the hand, which is what he does. A little bit annoying, but it's fine. Because now we can summon our Conductor to the field, flipping everything face down by sending the Rex to the graveyard. And now, despite these cards previously being unable to be destroyed, because they're face down, I can just send them straight to the graveyard anyway, and do burn damage at the exact same time. Alright, so from here, I could make a Link monster, put a Link monster on the field, then I could use the Conductor to banish 2 dinos to summon a second Conductor to the field if I wanted to, and had an IP. This would have revived itself, and I could have gone into a potential Unicorn from my opponent's turn or something. But I just decided I'm going to set up a Omni-Negate in case he has some annoying spell card that he wants to activate. Maybe the other play was better, but I wouldn't have had a card in hand anyway for the Nightmare, so IP would have been kind of useless. Alright, swinging into his stuff, popping both of them, he can't do anything about it. And no matter what he does here, I don't care about any of it, because he can't deal with this dinosaur. He literally can't deal with it. As long as he hasn't got a tech card, which we've got an Omni-Negate for, that could stop this Rex, he's just, yeah, he's completely screwed. So let him do whatever he likes, I do not care. Searches for a Bird Strike, might have cared about that card, but we have an Omni-Negate if we need to anyway. And we're just going to flip everything face down, and yeah, I mean, what's he going to do? Even destroying my own card, so I can just banish stuff to summon the dinosaur during my opponent's turn again. Alright, moving on to replay number 2. So that was one of the first games I played with the deck, so if I misplayed a little bit there, it looked a little bit, not perfect. That's probably why. But even then, you should get a good idea of just how frustrating it can be to play against something that just can't be affected. Despite setting up a full Literalist field, I just ignored it. The only thing he got rid of was a Link 1. That was the best he could get rid of. I could even go into like a Link 2, like a Nightmare or something during that turn maybe. Nah, that was fine. She would just bounce the Nightmare as well. But anyway, up against a Resonator deck, and once again going second. So Resonator actually has a potential counterplay to Misk. They have the Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain, because it's a continuous effect, the negate actually still goes through. So Fiendish Chain's actually a counter to this deck somewhat. Which is funny to say considering how old the card is now. It feels weird to have like Fiendish Chain being a good counter to this, but it actually is. But most people don't actually know that, so they let you resolve your stuff anyway. Or they don't even summon it at all. Like, I don't think this guy even summons the big guy, if I remember correctly. Alright, summoning Red Dragon Archfiend. Oh god, not 2 videos in a row of complaining about the shitty tail on this card's animation. Look how short it is compared to the artwork. Alright, Roaring Soul, going to be grabbing the Crimson, setting the dude, putting a Red Rain. Oh yeah, he was using the other skill. That's why I wasn't using the Fiendish Chain. He's using the old skill to get Red Rain. Honestly, the old skill isn't even bad with this. I just think the new skill is better. It's a Fiendish Golem, and sets up a pretty formidable end field. A Red Rain, a Fiendish Golem, which banishes something, and he's got the Omni-Negate on field as well. But all of that doesn't matter, because we can just use Bane. Oh, so use our Misk. He does negate our Fossil Dig, doesn't really matter because it just means now we can use our Peel in a moment. Discarding, we cannot be affected by card effects. I turned this into a dinosaur. I'm not really sure why I chose this one. I probably should have turned this one into a dinosaur. Alright, Mist can be summoned to level 1. Grabbing the Pill. Baby summoning a Dino to field, making a Linkuriboh. These two become a Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix can be popping the back row and forcing it out. He uses his own Fiendish Golem to defend his own monster. I think he banishes his Bane here, which is kind of funny. Because I'm just going to use my double Evo Pill. Summon out a Spell and Trap card negate. Revive this back. Make another Spell and Trap card negate. Or a monster negate too. A monster summon negate. Summon this. And yeah, swing in. Revive the Dino. Revives the Resonator dude. Swing in, pop it. Summons another one. Swing in, pop it again. And he's dead. Yeah. Not a whole lot he could do there. Like I said, if he was playing the other version of Resonator where he's using Fiendish Chain, he can actually negate one of my cards, but he isn't playing that, so... Up against Fleur. And this guy set up a pretty formidable infield, but he made one very crucial error. This man had the option to negate the Misk, and he chose not to. So I'll fast forward him a little bit because, yeah, you've seen some Fleur before, especially on this channel. Makes some grabs some equip spells, grabs a dude. And he ends on Roland as well. So a very nasty looking Fleur Enfield, honestly, but thankfully, he's not too bright with his negates. I don't even know if he negated if he would have even won the duel. But first things first, activate my Misk. He chose not to negate this, so now all my stuff's completely unaffected. Good luck dealing with that. Summon the dude, he tries to negate this. Yeah, good one, buddy. Don't know why he sent this one as well. The Life Extreme. Oviraptor searching another Oviraptor. Now this one actually made sense to search an Oviraptor, because I could reduce the level of one of these monsters and get an additional normal summon of an Oviraptor by doing so. Like in the first game, where I don't know why I searched for it. Alright, summon the Conductor, flip everything face down, pop in all his back row. Summon a Mist to the field, make a Lugia. Using the Evo Pill, summoning it out. Normal summoning, and yeah, he's just dead. Oh my god, nuking his whole field, hitting him in the face. I'm pretty sure I still had a normal summon there too, because this one, I think this was even my additional summon. I think this was just my first normal summon for the turn. Alright, because I didn't actually reduce any levels, which I think you have to do for the extra normal summon, if I remember correctly. Alright, up against a Tri-Brigade player. So I came up against a Tri-Brigade player earlier, and they showed me that deck can be really, really strong if it's piloted by the right person. This wasn't the right person. Alright, opening the fantastic Big Evolution Pill. Alright, so is this the first time I'm going first? It might be, in the replays. So, summoning Linkuriboh to the field. It looks very similar to the other replays, because you're essentially doing the exact same combo. Alright, popping the baby, summoning the baby to the field. Be very careful when summoning babies from Graveyard, because if you summon the baby you just popped, I don't think it gets the search effect from the baby Ceresaurus, so make sure to click the first one on the list of cards. That'll make sense when you play the deck yourself. Just click the first one in the list. First baby. Making an IP Masquerader. Double Evo Pill to banish some cards, summoning the Conductor to the field. These two become the Lugia. Then summoning a second Conductor just because we can. So this could have also been the Spell and Trap card negated if I wanted to, but I think having just more ways to flip things face down is better against Tri-Brigade, because I don't want them to get their Link Monster on the field whatsoever. And they also have the ability to sort of get a Link Monster on the field before I can respond to their card effect, due to how the skill now works, where I can just put the level 4 guy on the field, the kid. Which is I think what this guy does, but he doesn't fill up his graveyard enough before doing it. So he tries to summon a card, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to flip everything face down. Sending the dinosaur. Didn't want to send the baby yet, because I want to use the baby in combination with the when there's an empty slot. Alright. Conductor's now going to flip this face down, so the baby summons a Mist to the field. I can now make a nice Nightmare Unicorn. Getting rid of one of the back row, have a negate for the other one. And yeah, just summoning an Ovi to the field. Ovi searches for a card, grabbing a Misk. And now, yeah, I'm just gonna negate that. And despite having 3 face downs, he is dead as shit. Don't know why he bothered doing a search effects, he is dead as shit. Pops his stuff, hits him in the face, and he's gone. Alright. So up against another Resonator player now. And I think this one hopefully shows off the Oviraptor being summoned. Not the Oviraptor, the... I forgot the name, but the Spell and Trap card negate big guy. It might even be... I'm not even sure if having a second Spell and Trap negate on the field is even that worth over just having another big dinosaur on field. I'm not really sure. But I think for now we're definitely going to run it. Alright, so actually going second in this replay. This replay, I'm pretty sure was a pretty shitty replay, but I only saved it because it's the only time I bothered to pop my opponent's card with the skill. You'll see in a moment anyway. So opponent does a whole bunch of stuff, ends on a very shitty Resonator end field. I don't think he quite knew how to play the deck yet, I imagine. Ends on a Void, Ogre Dragon, and a Trap card. Very suboptimal, but anyway. Misk, my stuff's unaffected. Put the dude on field, pop a card, grab the pill. Oviraptor searching for Conductor. Dino Awakening, turning this into a Dino just because we can pop it. Didn't even really need to do this. He just dodges my card anyway. Fossil Dig grabbing the Rex. Normal summoning the Rex. These two become Nightmare. Can pop either two of these, doesn't really matter, he's already dead on field basically. Grabbing the baby, bashing some stuff, reviving the Dino, making a Xyz. And then we could even still use the pill there to summon yet another big dinosaur if we wanted to. But yeah, it's weird, that part of the skill, which lets you pop your opponent's stuff, it doesn't really seem like you really ever need it that much, at least from my experience playing it. Maybe if someone's a bit more smarter with this deck list, they'll find some more better uses for it. But typically, I don't really need to pop my opponent's stuff ever. I get changing the level can be useful, just so you get an extra normal summon of the Oviraptor, that can be useful. But the actual popping effects, typically I just want to pop my own babies, you know? Alright. Up against a guy that I don't remember what this guy was playing. Alright, so summoning the Dino, grabbing the pill, popping the baby. Baby gonna be summoning from deck. Oviraptor searching for an Ultimate Conductor. Making a Linkaribo. Skill sends the Linkaribo. Grabbing another baby. Discarding the big Evo pill. Popping, summoning, making into a Link. Alright, and then summoning the Rex. Making a rank 4. And once again, I actually didn't even summon this card again because I didn't want to summon from deck, so I wanted to have an extra card in hand to discard or make use of with IP Masquerader. So once again, it's just summon 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. I think a Spell and Trap card negate actually would have been better against this art type too, but it's fine. So basically going to wait for him to try to use his ritual spells, and then we're just going to negate it with Alagia. Specifically this Kaleido I don't want to resolve, because I want him to get the ritual. So I think he tried to use this one first as like a bait, and I'm like, okay, go ahead. I'm gonna flip this face down so I can still use this card's effect to negate the next ritual spell. And from there, unless he has a third ritual spell, he's pretty doomed. Palm his card, hit him in the face. Alright. And finally, we have another Resonator player. Hope you guys, I'm really hoping you guys summon the Oviraptor, not the Oviraptor, I keep forgetting the name of it, the Overtext thing. To show that you can summon it, because it's weird that I haven't shown it in any of the replays. Because your main combo is to summon it. Hopefully I do it in this one. Alright. So once again, Misk going to be summoning Dude, Dude gonna be popping. Grabbing other Dude. I say dude way too much in these videos. Making your Link Karibo. Dino Awakening, sending it, grabbing another baby. Normling baby, Ovi pop the baby summon Dino, making Link. Evo Pill gonna be banishing, and there he is, the Overtext Quodalus, whatever the hell its name is. Making a Lagia. Banishing 2, summoning the big Dino. So we have Omni Negate for Spell and Trap card Negate, and Negate for a monster summon. We have Negate for Spell and Trap card. We have Pop Sign to flip everything face down, and Ivy Masquerader to make potentially a Nightmare Unicorn if I want one. Alright, and a Miskin Hand to make myself unaffected as well. So if he has a Dark Hole or something, we can still have it unaffected Conductor Tyranno on field. For some reason he has Gardener. We are going to flip that face down though, so he doesn't eat my field. We also sent itself, just in case I wanted to have any other card in hand. Because I didn't want to send this in case I wanted to make Nightmare Unicorn still. And because I have Miskin Graveyard, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm going to have Miskin Graveyard. I have follow-up anyway, so... Oh, he just conceded. They didn't even bother because we negated his Synchro Summon. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Still plenty of videos to come out this week, all based around the new box, so look forward to them. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, that kind of stuff. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.